Welcome to the Ridgecrest Lost and Found podcast. In the same way that you find dog leashes and toenail clippings and lots of fur, we are the same way over here, especially on this episode.
Oh, yeah. Toenail clippings.
I just trying to think,
or
what are things that fall off of dogs? I'm like,
definitely fur. This guy right here,
he's a fur ball.
he's a fur ball.
I'm wearing
100%.
black pants, and that was a mistake.
That was a mistake. I asked Stacy Albritton, who's on staff, because she has, I think, like 2-3 huskies.
Uh-huh.
I asked her shortly after we got Flynn, what's the secret to, like, maintaining all of that? And she just went, you don't get to wear black anymore.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, so there's no hope.
Have you seen the pictures on Instagram of the people who brush out their huskies, and it literally makes like a husky-sized amount of hair?
I don't have to. I live that life.
That's true.
Because you pet Flynn enough, and you look at your hand, and it is hairy.
They do say that daily brushing at least makes it manageable. Now, there's a wide varying degree of what manageable means, and I think that's where the issue is.
Yes. Hey, bud.
But, like, because Captain sheds, but Captain has black hair, and so it's a little bit different.
Yep.
And he doesn't have the same kind. Like, that is, Flynn has. I don't even know how to describe it. It's not wire. Minnie has a wiry coat.
Yes.
Flynn has like in between a
He's
wiry
very
coat.
soft.
Yeah, it's like, but Captain's is almost. He has almost thicker hair. Almost. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Yeah.
But if you haven't noticed, we have Steven's dogs here today.
Yeah.
We're excited
By popular
about it.
demand. My demand.
Yeah, just one really.
I demanded it.
But that kind of leads us into what I wanted to talk about for the first part of this. Flynn's acting a fool right now.
He went under the table. He's just chilling.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about just for this solo, and it may be short. The last solo episode we said was going to be short, and it wasn't short. So we'll see how this goes. Is I want to just kind of have a little bit of housekeeping. Minnie is struggling with gravity.
Yeah, she does that.
So we've had some people. We've had a lot, and this isn't like that thing where people are trying to be influencers and they say like, we've gotten so much feedback about this, or this isn't that.
Seriously, thank you guys so much.
We're not going to do that.
This is not possible without you.
It's not. But at the same time, like y'all, it's not like you're paying us.
No,
the church does that.
Yeah,
but I have had people reach out about the podcast. I've had really good interactions when people are like, "It's great, it's funny." I've had other people that have said, "So what are we doing? What exactly is this supposed to be about?"
Yeah,
I heard one person say, "It's very low on content but high on entertainment." Which I think they meant as a compliment.
Yeah.
I don't know if I took it that way.
We can have good content here.
I know. But what is content in his mind?
Yeah,
or her mind? It could be anybody.
That's good save.
Anyway, so what I wanted to kind of do, and Stephen can I'll kind of give the overview, and Stephen can kind of get in the details if there are any details to give, which is, if you're watching this, you're most likely watching this on Spotify or YouTube.
Yeah.
Now, you could be listening to it on all kinds of stuff. Right now, most of our people are either listening or watching on Spotify. There's Apple Podcasts and then a few others. 99% of our people are in America. There's one in the UK. And if that one person is Joel, then I'm very excited because I know someone in the UK. And if they're watching it.
Did he used to intern?
Joel Wright. Yeah.
Brumware?
Yeah.
He was there when I interned there.
He's a great dude.
Yeah, he was nice.
Love to have him on the podcast. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Would that be a remote thing, or would we fly him out here?
I would love to get him out here. I don't know if he can come right now. It'd probably have to be a remote thing.
Do we have a budget for that?
We have zero budget. I think we have a negative budget, actually. I think we have to pay someone to do this.
Yeah, this has been such a successful podcast. We're literal dozens of viewers.
Yes.
That we should totally next budget we make, we should
throw cash down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the church members who give to this church would love that massive amounts of cash go to this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'd be great.
Yeah.
So
someone's got to pay for the coffee and the Sam's and the Costco.
That's right. So in that same vein, we've already kind of discussed what it is we're doing, but I'm so excited that there's people that are at least like talking about it. Yeah. Like there's people who have come up to me and said, "Hey, it's good," or "Hey, I don't really get it," or "Hey, I watched it." We've had comments, like we've had some comments on YouTube. We've had some comments on Spotify. I don't know if y'all knew this, and this is kind of what I want to get at. Spotify has kind of expanded their platform in a lot of ways. It's no longer just where you listen to music. They've really gone in on not just podcasts, but video podcasts. They've gone in on. They now have comments. It says on there like Q&A. If you're on your mobile device and you're watching this, if you just scroll down, it'll have the Q&A and the poll, and we get all of that. So every time you submit something, it goes right to us. We see it. There's polls that we do, like, with the top fringe sports, we voted to see who had the best draft.
One of us got all of our friends and family to vote for.
Some of us just know how to play the game, is what I'm getting at.
Someone call that cheating.
You have friends and family. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
They're not going to vote for me.
I can't help that.
Yeah.
I can't help that. And so we would love to have some more interaction. One, because it's fun.
Yeah.
Two, because it does help the podcast have some reach. It helps the podcast kind of get out, because kind of a look behind the curtain with this whole thing was, A, we wanted this podcast to be fun. Two, we wanted it to help people we wanted to help reach people for the church.
Yeah.
And the way that happens, our strategy behind that is by doing fun, entertaining things, but then it helps kind of be the gateway to a lot of the other stuff that we're doing.
Yeah. This is multifold. I was going to say twofold or threefold. Multifaceted. That's the word I was looking for. Where, yeah, we have a good time. We're entertaining. We're apparently zero content, but that all leads towards, if we can. And this has been a lot of what I've been focused on here. My job being, if I can reach people where they're at with some form of content, then that is akin to getting someone to step foot in the church.
Yep.
And so if us talking about Costco and Sam's hot dogs gets someone to hear devotion from Greg, that is the goal.
Right.
And I hope that we are doing that.
And so that's kind of where I wanted to make y'all aware of the different things that are available. So if you like the podcast and you want to help support, one, come to Ridgecrest. It'd be awesome. That's kind of the main thing.
Yeah.
Is like, come join us, come be a part of the community, come be a part of our church family, all that stuff that comes with it. But I thought you were going to say something.
I was. Were you?
I'm out of space.
Okay. And the nice thing about that is we're talking about how you can engage with us in comments and Q&As and everything. We're the ones that see that. We're on staff here. So
He's eating something.
that's great. Flynn. He'll be fine. So if you have any questions about Ridgecrest.
Plastic, it's right there. Oh. It's on the ground. I got him. I got the dog.
He disintegrated that thing. So if you have any questions about Ridgecrest that you'd like to ask before visiting, or anything you'd like to know, we see that. And if anyone would be the ones to answer those questions, it would be staff members, and that's us.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so like if we're talking about something completely off the books, but you have a legit question, this is a way to contact us. Yeah. That's all there's to it.
Yep.
So there's that. So come hang out with us. Come join the church. Come see what we have to offer. But specifically for the podcast, go comment on some stuff. Go follow on Spotify, follow on Apple, subscribe on YouTube. And what that does is it just helps us get this out to more people, because that is what the whole point is. The whole point of it is, A, to have fun, but two, to reach people. And so you can do that by liking it. You can do it by sharing. There's all those share buttons on all these apps where you can let people know. Stephen, let's have a conversation about how we think the reels and the shorts are going.
Okay.
Because that's something that we are we're not trailblazing it in general, but for our church.
We're the first ones to do it. First ever.
But it's something new that we're trying with our church, and I think it's been successful.
Yeah, absolutely. The short form content was kind of a big part of the creation of this podcast, as you mentioned before. And so we've made little short clips. I have no idea how this sounds. Like, it could sound like a helicopter's going off.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. You guys love dogs. We love dogs. So it is what it is. Got to give him a second to give me some kisses.
Hi.
Down. You can just pick her up if you want to.
No.
But we've created a lot of shorts from the episodes, and they numbers wise, they've been popping off.
Oh yeah.
So that's been great, and that's been nice because we can use that, or we have been using that as kind of a test run to see how short form content would perform within our space. Not only podcast short form content, but also like potentially like church sanctioned content kind of stuff, like the all content no entertainment side of the spectrum,
The
where
opposite.
we're the opposite of us.
And that's kind of, and it's been interesting because I've had people, especially people that don't follow Ridgecrest, like unless you're subscribed on our YouTube page, which you really only would be if you've been involved with our church.
We've got like 550 subscribers.
Right. But that's about how many people go to this church. So, but then like I've had people from other churches, from people from my circles, spheres of influence. That
spheres or fears?
Spheres. I can't say it right.
It sounded like fears.
Spheres.
Got it.
Of influence. But where they've heard about it from the clips. And so like they'll say like, hey, I heard y'all did a video about hot dogs. And I'm like, yeah, but it's also about other stuff. And then they they convert, as they say in the biz, from watching the shorts or reels to either the full YouTube video or they move to Spotify. And so I'm very interested in it because especially YouTube and Instagram specifically have said we are going to start pushing short form content so much more than whatever you call it, landscape or
being someone that, because I have a YouTube channel that I'm part of with some friends, where we do like just live stream gaming and stuff, and we did short form content for a while, and so like I've seen firsthand, YouTube is pushing those suckers like crazy,
right?
Where even one of ours, I published it. I don't remember which one it was, but I texted you and I was like, "This thing has 250 some views in 30 minutes."
Right?
It's crazy. They really are pushing.
Which,
like,
if you're in your mind, you're following these giant accounts, you're like, "Oh, that's nothing."
Yeah.
But when you're talking about an account where we only have 500 people that are following us,
we average about 54, like mid 50s views on a Sunday live stream after a few days of.
And we quadrupled that in 30 minutes.
Yep.
So I mean, obviously TikTok is pushing short form because that's all they do. But even Instagram and YouTube and these places, I guess Facebook also, Meta, they're all pushing this. And so whereas we're trying to reach people, this is kind of giving us the ability, because of the style of which we do the show, it's giving us the opportunity to reach people in a new way. And there's not a lot of people around us that are doing this.
Yeah.
You know, there's church and Instagram preachers and all kinds of people that do it, but we're one of the only churches in our area that's really starting to push some of this stuff, from what I can see. Maybe I'm wrong in that.
Yeah, it's all about just getting people in the front door, and that means something very different today than it used to. I mentioned in the Fringe Sports episode that we used to do a dodgeball ministry here. You guys made fun of me because I call it a ministry. It was.
We did. I have no response to that. We did.
Yeah. But we referred to it as a ministry because the entire point, one, we did do a devotion and there was a sense of community. But also the entire focus of that was to get teenagers that normally would be intimidated by the church or just not interested, get them in the door.
Yep.
Because getting them in the door is the hardest part. Even if that means just getting them there for dodgeball every Friday nights. They may hear something there. They may meet someone there that ministers to them.
Yep.
And so back then, that's what getting people in the front door meant. But today, with how online everything is, the front door may not even be the building.
Well, in the front door, the barrier to entry has to get lower and lower and lower because people very rarely, there are families that they move to a town, they say, we want to go to a church and we want to get involved, and they go visit churches, and you average two or three times at a church, and you go to some other churches until you find what you want. That does still happen.
Yeah.
But especially for people who aren't involved with the church, they're not going to do that.
Right.
Especially younger people. The younger it gets, the more, instead of going through the front door, they're going to go to the church homepage.
Yep.
And before they go listen to a sermon or a worship service, they're going to watch 5 of them on their YouTube channel.
Yep.
And
they'll go to Facebook and they'll message the Facebook group and say, "What's your childcare like? Do you are you okay with kids in this?" Like, there's just so many different points of connection before someone even will consider coming to the building.
And so, it's almost like the barrier to entry has to be lowered.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, for some people, the sooner that we can get to them, and the more, there, go get them, go get that car, go get that car. The sooner that we can get them, and the more consistently they can see us, even if we're talking about nonsense.
Yep.
Or, because the more they see us, the more comfortable they get with us, the more the name sticks, and the more they'll be willing to say, I want to go try it out. These seem like people that I know. These seem like people that I would agree with some things with.
Yep.
They seem like people that I want to be a part of.
Yeah, because a lot of, in my experience, a lot of the perception of what church folk are is, very rigid, not fun, judgmental. And so any chance that we get to have to show, hey, we're people too. We like to have fun. We don't hate people. We're just normal.
We do have a no dancing rule still.
That's what I've heard.
It's still a thing.
I'm not a dancer. So.
It's not just at our church. It's at a lot of Baptist churches. So you have to be aware. I don't really know how that works. Like if you wanted to get down in the service, but you can't have like dances at the church.
Okay, so does that mean just like if one person is like feeling it in worship service and they're moving, that's okay. But if someone adjacent to them starts doing it, are they dancing?
I don't see. I'm not the right person to ask.
Okay.
Because I took one business law class and I was like, this is the worst. And so like jargon bothers me.
Yeah.
Just say what you mean.
Yep.
But that's the issue, is that it's hard to do that with law speak. And also I just don't agree with the bylaw. But I don't know. I think
we don't hate dancers.
I don't know. Whoever made the bylaws may. It may be Footloose all over again. And
who would be the Kevin Bacon of Ridgecrest?
I don't. Ooh.
I've never seen Footloose.
Not even the old one?
I just know Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, it's a good movie. You would like it.
I probably would.
The cowboy who dances, like the supporting actor, is awesome.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
There was a whole supporting cast. It wasn't just Kevin Bacon. I don't know if you knew that.
That's interesting. So like a whole dancing Avengers.
And Kevin Bacon drives a yellow VW Bug.
That is the least cool car.
Not back then. Not in the 80s.
In the 80s?
Surely Footloose was the 80s.
I knew Footloose is the 80s, but I would have thought that car would be a lot cooler like in the 70s.
But part of it was he was a kid. It was a single mom. He was moving from the city.
Okay.
It wasn't like he had just a ton of money.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm pushing this movie so hard.
I'll check it out.
But it was good. It was good.
Who do you think would be the Kevin Bacon of Ridgecrest?
That's something you can put in your Q&A when you comment on this. I have no idea. Who is the person who is a great person, gets along with everybody, but just pushes at the seams of church society, who just wants to let go and let people dance?
Tim Blocker.
See, you're going with staff. I think it'd be someone not on staff.
I thought we were going staff.
Because we would be the town council. We're the people who said
we're the no dancers.
Yeah.
Dancers. Okay.
It's already the thing that we're in. We're in that bucket.
Yeah.
It had to be a church member who just really wants to just stick it to us.
Okay.
Just let them dance.
Who hates the Ridgecrest staff?
Yeah. Well, no, I wouldn't say Kevin Bacon hates them. He just wants us to let people be people.
Can you tell I haven't seen this movie?
Yeah, I can.
So I was gonna
just comment down below who you think it is, because I have no idea who it is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Maybe the Kevin Bacons of the church are kind of laying low right now. They don't want us to know what the deal is.
They're conspiring.
You know,
right now.
In the movie, the female lead is the daughter of the pastor. And I'm thinking Greg O'Neill has a daughter who married a guy. Maybe Dylan is the Kevin Bacon.
Second time he's gotten mentioned in a recording.
Yes.
In a row.
There's also other daughters of pastors on staff.
That's true.
He just came to mind. Maybe he boogies.
Does he seem like the dancing type?
He does not. Sorry, Dylan. Maybe you do. I don't know. Who's another one? Who's another?
Can't think of anybody.
I don't either. Yeah, we'll just have to go to the comments.
William Vavatsik.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely a dancer.
He definitely swing dances on the weekends.
He's got a second, a double life like
yeah.
Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec, Duke Silver.
William goes to McBee's on Saturday evenings and does swing dancing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like it. Hey.
Minnie's a straight up security guard.
She is very jealous, and she's very territorial. She loves humans more than anything ever. She hates dogs that get in the way of her getting all the love from humans more than anything ever.
But she's literally in your lap being petted.
Yeah, and it's not enough. Hey.
I see you.
Hush.
I see you.
Hush.
You know it's never going to happen? Us have an episode with just cats. That's never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
What
would they do? Like, you know? Like,
they'd guarantee you they'd be across the room living their own life.
They'd be up there in the corner just looking at us, judging us, pooping everywhere. I don't know.
We need to get someone in here who's like a cat person.
Yeah.
Because the one part about being a cat, like an inside cat, that I think is super cool, cat towers.
Yes.
But I want to know, like, do all cats just love those cats and they like get in them and they're going through and like?
I've seen some that, like, they'll start from the floor and like hit the tower and then completely circle the room in like 6 seconds.
Okay.
They're fast. Like they'll jump up, climb the tower, go all the way around, jump back down as if it's like a racing lap.
Interesting.
They just get it.
See, I need to talk to somebody about it because I have a hard time differentiating in my mind the cats who just lay around and don't do anything.
Yeah.
And then what I hear about those kind of, because I've never seen like a happy, playful, runny cat.
Yeah.
I've always seen I hate you and I'm going to lay here.
I think it's because cats aren't happy and playful with anyone else.
Oh, it's got to be my cat.
No, I mean, like, I've never, and I know this is wrong. Calm down. There are cat people out there somewhere. They're wrong, but yeah, I'm sure they're out there.
There are.
But
there are definitely cat people.
But I've never seen a cat that like plays with a human. But I've seen an energetic cat where they're just kind of like bouncing. But you know, if you try to get in on that fun, they're just like, "What are you doing?
That's true.
This is not your time."
I don't get it. I don't get cat. I've never had one though, so I know it's not fair.
You know what we do need? Hamster tubes all around the set with live hamsters.
And you're going to feed the hamsters and keep them alive?
I mean, you're the host of this podcast.
Speaking of, that's the other thing that I was thinking about is you notice that some things have changed in the last few episodes. We haven't really talked about the set. The set.
This wall just showed up out of nowhere.
This is crazy how that happens. The set is kind of not fluid because it doesn't go backwards, but it's something that we're hoping to kind of progress as we go forward. Dynamic. So if y'all have any suggestions about what could be on the wall, I would love it. I've thought about having I'm trying to see have a sign somewhere around here where it would say lost and found, kind of like our logo or something. That could be really cool.
Yeah.
I've also thought about in a non-bad way, having just random assortments of things.
Yeah.
I think that could be cool because that's kind of the whole point of the podcast. It's maybe things that we talk about or things that we bring up, we just have a place where we hang them or something.
I think it'd be a fun thing if, moving forward, people that were on the show had to give us something to add to the set, like a tribute.
That would be fun. It just can't be trash.
Yeah.
With Russ in the coffee episode, a coffee mug would have been cool. I'm not putting a Starbucks coffee cup up here.
No.
It's got to be something legitimate.
So something that's this would add to your set, but also this reminds you of the episode that goes in. Yeah.
I agree.
That'd be fun.
Point is, we're open to all kinds of things, and so just let us know what that looks like. Let us know if you have any ideas. I have lots of people that have lots of opinions that come and talk to me about things. So I'm sure they have opinions on this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How have you liked? So this will come out episode 8.
Yes.
There will be 5 guest episodes, 2 solos before this. How have you thought it's gone so far?
Just overall.
Yeah, or you can start overall and you can be specific.
It's been good. Doing content like this, I'm always concerned with formatting and like how do we keep to time? How do we keep conversation flowing, keep it engaging and everything? I feel like that's come effortlessly, to be honest.
Part of that, though, is that I am the least concerned about hitting a certain timetable.
Yeah.
In my opinion, which is my opinion, we hit a phase of podcast where podcasts had to be 30 minutes or less and videos had to be 4 minutes or less. It was a weird stage. People were trying to figure out content and they thought shorter is better. The problem is I love 3-hour podcasts.
Same.
I love long form content. I love 45-minute YouTube videos. And I may not watch it in one go. I may piece it up over, a set amount of time. But to me, content is way more important than now that I've gotten so deep into longer form podcasts, you can tell when a 30-minute podcast, because it's never a 30-minute conversation. They always have to cut it down, or you get in the middle of something and they go, all right, that's it. I'll see you later. And they just cut it.
We don't cut anything here.
We may have cut one, the one where Michael walked in. Did we end up? We haven't edited that yet.
That's the next one.
We'll see how that goes.
I'm going to try to make it work because that was just too funny.
And part of that ties into your whole being authentic. And I'm not saying we'll never cut anything because who knows?
Sometimes someone just can't get a thought out or says something stupid.
And usually it's both, and it's usually me.
It's usually one leads to the other.
So that being said, I value the conversation. Like the last podcast that we recorded was with Pastor Michael.
Right.
And we even had a point where it was like, we are going over where we've normally gone. And it's like, I want to go until we need to stop.
Yeah.
And now.
And I'm all for it. I just say what the time is.
Right.
Just to keep us.
We've got to get a timer. We've got to get something where it's somewhere we can all see and we know we don't. Because I was wondering how long it had been.
Yeah.
And we just need to figure that out. That's part of the things that we need to kind of grow the set in.
Next person that's on the podcast, bring us a timer.
Yes.
Give me your gift. Your
or technically it's a stopwatch. Because the timer counts down.
Yeah, it's true.
The last thing we need is for a little chicken timer to go.
Big sand dial right here.
We do. There is one on the 3rd floor.
That makes sense.
I think it's got to be like a 30-minute one. It's not that big.
Okay. Well,
maybe we'll bring it. And at the start
we should totally check those rooms for some stuff.
Yeah, we should totally start that. I haven't been doing that, trying to pilfer things for weeks. Problem is, those rooms have already all been pilfered, and probably by Stacy, whose stuff it is.
Yeah, I have been told the AV stuff is mine.
The problem is that AV stuff is
junk.
I wouldn't say junk, but I'm trying to be nice. I'll just say it's aged.
Yes. But we're used to that here.
Yes. That was we had a church give you the compliment of saying this kind of all looks pieced together, but it works. Because he was talking about how his church, their focus was on making sure it looked good.
Yeah.
But sometimes stuff looks good, but it doesn't necessarily work well together.
Yeah.
And he was saying that's the opposite here.
We very much because I hear a lot of bigger churches that spend so much money on the top of the line best, and that's fine, but we're not at the point here where we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very much a firm believer in there not being a lot of stuff that I would just consider useless.
Right.
And so there was a guy who was trying to give away a lot of equipment.
A lot of equipment.
A lot of equipment.
Like a trailer load of equipment.
Yes, the trailer was literally filled to the brim with equipment.
To the gills, as they say.
Yes. And he was looking to give it away, but he was hoping to make a little bit of money off of it.
Right.
and other churches took one look at it. I don't know what other churches, so I'm not calling anybody out, but just what he told me.
We're calling you out, First Baptist Church of something. Not First Baptist. I don't know. I just said First Baptist because it encompasses a lot of different churches.
Said something church of somewhere.
That's way better. Something church of somewhere.
There you go.
He could have gone to Methodist churches. We don't know.
We don't know. But he said that they just kind of took one look at it and were like, no, we don't want this. This is useless. And we took him up on it. Made a great connection with this guy. He was very nice. And we brought that trailer over here, and we have been piecing that stuff from that together to use for whatever. Like, I think I got 2 podcast mics from that we have used.
Yeah. Not these.
No. But we do a lot of piece together stuff here, but I think a strength in our AV team is that we are very good at making things work with what we have. Mm-hmm. And I would much rather be that than would be somewhere that depends on having an exact thing.
Yeah.
It makes us very adaptable.
I agree. I think it's helpful. I think that, like everything, that can get too crazy where you start using duct tape and
absolutely
floss to hold things together.
Absolutely.
But that's not where we're at yet.
No.
There may have been times where we've done that, but
yeah, not on my watch, hopefully. But it just allows us to think outside the box. William, who will surely be on the podcast at some point,
we've got a set amount of dates, like a range where we can get him in.
Yeah, he's it's just a matter of getting him in the room. Yeah, he's a very busy guy, but he's my sound guy basically on the team, and that mentality of make it work that we've had to have has allowed him to come up with some really creative solutions that we normally wouldn't have had, that we've used for like outdoor events that have worked absolutely fine, but it's kept us from having to purchase who knows what for something we'd use maybe twice a year.
Yep.
It's great.
Or we just go spend $40,000 on a soundboard. And then you have to spend $60,000.
No.
Then you have to spend $60,000 on all the other accoutrements.
Yeah. The peripherals, the bells and whistles, as they say.
Yes.
$60,000 for a soundboard. Can you believe that?
I'd rather be Bells and Whistles Baptist Church. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Bells and Whistles non-denominational church.
Yeah, community.
Yeah.
It's not new, but that's what they do. Is if you want to be non-denominational, but you're still kind of Baptist, you go blah 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 community church.
Yep.
Or the something church is something.
Right.
Well, good. Anything else we need to discuss? Anything that they need to know going forward?
How does somebody who really wants to be on the podcast get on the podcast?
One, if you know us, just come tell us you want to be on the podcast. The way that I tell people, maybe this is too much behind the curtain, but I'll get into it anyway. What I tell people is if you can get here, and we are very flexible on our recording times, if you can get here and if you have something to discuss, I'm great with you sitting in this chair. What I found is that I told Steven, I've had, besides the people who have already been on the podcast, I've had 4 or 5 other people say, I want to be on the podcast. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and what I tell every single one of them is, let's find a date. Mm-hmm. Here's our schedule, but we can be flexible. I say that to everybody. And then I say, we've got to have something to discuss. Yeah. Now, what I've found is that we spend very little time talking about the main thing. Usually we take a huge rabbit trail to get there, and then we spend some time on it, and then we sort of end when it feels good. But it's still helpful to have something. Like I don't think we've had someone come in here where it's like we don't have a clue what we're talking about. Because what it does is it kind of helps us lead there. Because you gotta have a main trail to have rabbit trails, and so as long as we have that main idea that we're working towards, it just is helpful. Yeah. But that can be anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, that could be like right now. I'm trying to think of someone that would want to do a fast food French fry showdown with me.
That would be a great. I would do that one with you. That'd be great.
So I think that
would curly fries count. Is Arby's?
I think so. That's a fast food French fry.
Arby's just wins.
There's some weirdos out there that think that hot, fresh McDonald's fries are the best, bar none.
if you're that person, you're not welcome on this podcast.
That's not true. You are welcome.
You are.
Because I want your opinion.
I need to understand why you think that.
I'm not
Explain to me.
I'm not disagreeing with you about Arby's.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of good fries out there. I think there's a lot of bad fast food French fries.
Absolutely.
And I'm willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to find someone to do that with me. I also want to find someone that, like, I want to find someone who's really, like, William is really interested in storm chasing.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. I want to find someone who is, like, nuts about mini golf. Mm-hmm. And I want to be like, why are you nuts about mini golf? Like, where did that come from? How did you get there?
Yeah.
Are you mad that it's a fringe sport, mini golf? Mini golf is the fringe sports of fringe sports.
Yeah.
How many comments did you have about the fringe sport episode? People mad about certain sports being fringe.
Well, my circle doesn't talk about sports. So I was talking to one of my.
You did have one.
Yeah, one of my volunteers on AV, Shane. I was talking to him about. Well, I asked him, "Are you a sports guy?" He was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, what are your top 5 fringe sports?" And I'm so glad you mentioned this because now I get to have Justice for my number 4 pick. But he mentioned pickleball and cornhole were 2 of his.
Yeah.
And then his third one was drone racing.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you, because I feel like drone racing should have been accepted.
And I will.
Can we redact that, revise that?
Revise.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't know if we can revise it because it's already out there, but I will say, when you said drone racing, I had in my head, is it FTP drones?
I have no idea.
Those types of drones. You can race those, or some people will do very cinematic shots with them.
I'm talking like you got people going straight up, killing the engine, falling through a chimney, picking it up, and then I've seen that. It's awesome.
So, yeah, but see that if it's just one dude just being cool with it, like that's a super awesome hobby.
Yes.
Now, if there's 5 guys or girls that have headsets on and their drones are lined up and they're racing around some sort of track,
yes, I'll
consider that a sport.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, and I had in my head just a solo person flying a drone. I'm like, that's not a sport.
No. But he also mentioned professional slap fights, which I thought was hilarious. Because he was in my boat. He's never seen one, but he's seen like clips of like these just huge guys that get just completely decapitated by these scrawny guys. It's amazing.
But I don't get it because it's just like standing for a punch. I mean, it's an open-handed punch to the face.
Yep.
It's not like a gentleman's like that.
They're trying to kill each other.
Yes. They're trying to knock each other out.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. If you have interesting facts about yourself,
that's
something that you just would like to just talk about, we'll hear it.
And we do reserve the right to refuse guesthood to somebody. We have to put that out there.
Yeah.
Just because you come out and say like I want to be on the podcast, due to scheduling, due to busyness, due to the fact that we may think that that's kind of crazy, just because you reach out, I mean you're going to be on the podcast. Yeah. But we are very open, especially. I won't say especially, but we are very open. But if it doesn't happen, it may not happen. But I just wanted to cover our bases a little bit.
Got to do that. Yeah, because I tried to block somebody from being on the podcast. A good friend of mine, jokingly, and he called you up and
he just straight went around you.
Yeah, he went around me, and Logan's response was, "Tell Steven that he just pushes buttons around here."
And did you see what your friend said? He said he didn't even push buttons very well.
He left that part out.
He said, I think it was like, and he's not even a good button pusher.
That sounds like something he'd say. But he's getting on the podcast. But
he's going to be fun.
He'll be fun.
Let's be honest. He doesn't know what those buttons do.
I'm the one that told him to get that thing. Whatever. It's fine. But yeah, gotta have something within reason to talk about.
I'm interested also, speaking of that person, I'm interested to get Tim Blocker on to talk about AI.
Does he have a lot of opinions about AI?
Well, there's 2 different kinds of AI to Tim Blocker.
Yep.
Yep. We're going to get into it.
Yeah.
I got to get him on here. So
that's going to be fun.
It's going to be a good time. So kind of to wrap up, we really just want to encourage y'all to be engaged.
Yep.
Watch the stuff. Watch it all the way through. having a full playthrough is always helpful. So like even when you see the outro, it's a 10-second outro. Just watch it. It'll be great.
Yeah.
But then if you have comments, good, bad, or indifferent, comment them. If you want to be a part of the polls, comment on the polls. Usually the polls have some sort of thing that happens, like Ford has to buy our lunch now. So, or at least mine. I don't know if you get involved or not.
I was never going to get in on that.
Oh, that's
Let's
terrible.
be honest. Nobody was going to vote for me. Nobody was going to buy me lunch.
Oh, poor Steven.
Yeah,
you
have there pushing my poor buttons poorly, whatever.
And it keeps breaking because of your tears. They just get all in there and
just salty tears all up in the switcher.
We'll make sure we'll bring you another pizza or something.
Bring me another empty cup.
We'll bring you a soft pretzel. That'll make it all
that.
okay.
That'll make everything better.
All right. Any last words? Things that we need to talk about?
Flynn really wants attention.
Flynn, get over yourself. You're just a dog. You want the last word? Say something. Say something. Say. Ooh. He didn't say anything.
He doesn't perform. Hold on. Come here. Come here, bud. Come here.
Are we gonna get something out of him?
We might get something out of him. Come on. Come here.
He says.
He
says you're dead to me. You're dead to me now.
Come here. Whenever I have a treat, like he can do sit, he can do shake, and do hug, all that stuff. But I try to get him to say, I love you. 'Cause he's a husky. It doesn't work, but he will at least. That's basically speak for him. Is if I say I love you. So I don't have food for you, but I love you. Yeah,
he's looking at me like, look at this dum dum.
Yep.
Think he's gonna get something out of me. He did this look. He did.
Yeah. That's his favorite thing to do. Like,
Is to go side eye.
Yeah, he does the side eye, and he'll do the judgmental like.
Yeah, there was some judgment in that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you. I ain't scared of you. I'll fight dogs. I fight dogs all the time. All right, Steven.
I got nothing.
Wrap us. Send us home.
Go home.